Macey, week one of the finals is upon us.
It is.
There'll be some sore heads today, mate. There was Mad Monday.
Yeah, I know a few of the Para boys were out at the races. I got a few tips. Tipped them into a few winners, which was good.
I wonder what they're doing these days for Mad Monday. I'm not going to lie. Like, that was, like, probably my favourite day of the year.
Do you reckon that was probably your best performance of the year, Mad Monday?
Outstanding.
Do you reckon you could have been...
I'd be an immortal.
Immortal. You took the
I'd be on
words
the
out of
immortal
my...
list for Mad Mondays. There's a few other names. I'm not going to throw them under the bus. But
let's throw out two names that were very good Mad Monday before. Doesn't have to be bad.
Mate, everyone was good at Mad Monday in my era. I didn't let anyone leave. When I became a senior player and I went to Parramatta, there's a few stories there that...
Did any of your...
I called the shots. When I was at the Dogs, I was just told what to do. At Para, I called the shots. We had a few Mad Mondays throughout those years.
Did they go like Mad Tuesday, Wednesday?
Terrible Tuesday, Wednesday. You pretty much fade. It depends what day you finish up on. If you finish up on a Friday, you're fucked. You just scrape it into Monday. And you're outside the 8. There's not much to celebrate. So I'm sure there's a few sore heads today. How was your weekend, bud?
Weekend was good. I took the kids out to Leichhardt Oval for grand final day. The Bondi United won the A Silver. That was a cracking game.
Yep.
Amazing, because that's obviously like what you'd be B grade South Carolina. The quality of football that's played, you had, I think Concord Burwood had a player, played 10 tests for Fiji. Yeah, right. So it's still good quality footy. Yeah. And the kids just loved it in the dressing sheds.
Yeah, one of my old clubs, Coogee Wombats, got beat in extra time apparently, and I saw a few tries actually. A couple of Rovers ended up winning it.
Yeah, the cracker tries in that Rovers game.
I saw that. I saw the highlights, and I've just come back from Queensland, so I was up there watching my nephew Kyson play in their grand final. Unfortunately, they got beat. Currumbin Eagles versus Burleigh. I tell you one thing, bro. This is one thing that turned me off about kids footy.
Yes,
under 13s. It was the women causing all the trouble on the sidelines. So I'm sitting there with my sister-in-law. There's nearly a punch-on between a certain person I know and the fans. And I was like, fuck, what do I do here? So I went and stood up the back. I thought, man, I didn't come here to punch on. All the dads are sat up the back. I'm going back there with the dads while the mothers are arguing at the front. I thought, the politics of rugby league, coming into that age, under 13s, 14s, 15s. That's what my brother's got to look. He's looking forward to that. He's got another 2 boys to come through and go through all that shit.
But God, they're loud. I know when I coached this year, all the mums, they are so loud and they get so into it.
I thought my mum was bad growing up. I'm not going to lie. I thought the way the mothers were carrying on, and it wasn't even the Currumbin mothers. I was like, look, I met some really good people, the Burleigh people, a couple of the fathers I spoke to, they came up to me after the game. But the mums, I was like, Jesus, glad you're not my mother. But it was fun. So I went up to Queensland for the weekend, come back. Week 1 of the finals is here.
We're going to do a pretty deep preview, a bit like last week, go a little bit deeper. I don't think there was as much to talk about out of the actual round, but I think there's definitely a lot to talk about now.
Yeah.
Obviously, some sore points. We'll get to your Dogs in a bit.
Yeah, I'll start with my numero uno freak of the week. I'm going to go with Briton Nikora, and I'm sorry to Luke, who's a fan of the show, for mentioning the Sharks. I'm going to let him fly under the radar. I thought they were outstanding. I'll leave it at that. But Briton Nikora, he's definitely the informed back rower in the competition. He's dangerous, and he's not a big back rower. I've always been a huge fan of him. He runs great lines. He comes under his half. He'll try and pick up runners on the other side of the ruck. A really great back rower and a strike weapon for the Sharks. If you look across the Sharks line, right, you always go, they look like a team that's not, well, they aren't a team full of stars, are they? You know, they're not your Penriths or your Melbournes, but they're all galvanised. They're all on the same page. But if you got strike, you'd say Briton Nikora is one of your strike weapons. So
I think Jesse Ramian.
Uno, freak of the week.
I think
Jesse Ramian's great.
He makes such a difference to that side.
Nico, just play your role, do what you need to do.
We won't talk about you anymore.
But that's it.
That's it.
We'll talk a little bit about you in the preview. But Briton Nikora, you are the informed back rower at the moment. Who's your freak of the week, mate?
My man. First time, Marky Mark.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pronounce the last name. Not even going to try.
We need to be better at pronunciations, mate.
Yeah, but not this. Like
He's a rooster. You should know the pronunciation.
I want to know what year at school did he learn to write his full name.
I tell you one thing about Marky Mark, right? His fans weren't rugby union people. They were too wild to be rugby union.
They were into it.
Fucking oath.
But you know what I loved? First thing with him, he asked for the ball. I think it was like the second tackle of the whole game. He just went looking for it. And it's so funny because you spoke about players waiting for the game to come to him, and the players that go looking for the ball.
Yeah.
And he did it.
Yeah, well, he took that leap over Tyrone Munro, and you thought, fuck, that's classy. You know, that's a good winger's try to get up above, put the ball down. And the way he came around the ruck and pointed to the dummy half and say, my carry.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to do that. You just need to be in the picture and the ball's coming to you.
Give it to me.
He was like, me.
It's like under nines, my run.
Yeah, you know, and he's a unbelievable backup for Dom Young and Toops, you know. Like, so you give him a little bit of taste of first grade, put him at Homebush, see what he can do against the depleted South team, but
definitely.
He didn't look out of place, did he?
To be honest, I think he looked like more comfortable even in defence than what Dom Young does most weeks. Like Dom's a friggin'
bagging your team, mate, not me.
I'm not bad. I'm just saying.
I think they've got bigger defensive issues than just Dom Young, the Roosters.
Yes,
right?
that is very true. But no, I just think for a bloke who's probably played 5 games of rugby league in the last 10 years,
he's great.
It's a huge effort. Like I was talking to Champ about it, and he goes, making that transition is extremely hard. And yes, it was a depleted South side, but it was very encouraging signs for a new young player.
Absolutely, because it's been the other way for a long time now, right? Wendell, Takiri, Matty Rogers, Andrew Walker.
Ben Teo.
They all went to rugby union. Sammy Burge, he didn't really have that much of an impact on the English side, but to see a rugby union player come across, I think it's great, you know, and it's good to be able to maybe steal a few more players from there, you know, because rugby union is struggling. I love rugby union. I grew up, you know, playing it my whole life. But to see it go the other way, it's encouraging. And yeah, he's a great pickup. He's a great pickup. He's had a big year. He's gone from the World Cup,
Olympics,
and gets a couple of carries against the Bunnies.
Gets a win against in the local derby. It was very good.
Yeah. What else have we got this week, mate?
Well, that was a highlight for me. Let's go for a bit of a low light to you. And I know it's something you mentioned 3 weeks ago. You kept saying, I'm worried about the fatigue. I'm worried about the fatigue. And with your Bulldogs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think as the last 2 weeks, that's what started the show.
Yeah, yeah. We're missing some players. I'll say it again, Kurt Mann in the middle is a big loss. You know, we've had 2 big losses now, like Manly, Cowboys. Big losses, not just big losses, not even in the contest. I said it weeks ago because I was starting to get a little bit frustrated as a fan watching them get into grinds when they didn't need to get into a grind. They get a 10, 12, 16-point lead, thereabouts, and they just wouldn't put the foot on the throat and go on with the game. They'd invite the team back in through their discipline or through errors. And these kids aren't robots. Like mental, physical, emotional fatigue comes into it at some point. It's been a long year. 27 rounds, bro, plus a preseason. You're missing some players, and then all of a sudden your body's not moving like it was. You know, you're not really turning up and filling the space where you should be. They look like a defensive side of last year. You got blokes getting up out of the line, blokes sitting back, some poor reads on the edges. Yes, there's players that have had to come in. We've lost Birdo, we lost Fox, we lost Bronson last week, and then the week before we had no Critter.
Yeah.
But these guys have been training in a system since preseason last year. That's what made them so effective this year with becoming the best defensive side up until round 27, right? So there is a fatigue factor that kicks in. However, they've still got a home semi-final and it's a new competition. So just hopefully, you know, we did on a previous podcast talk about teams that can't make the 8.
Yeah.
Teams in the top 8, they have the same mindset to some capacity about, hey, let's just get to round 27. I want to play in the semi-finals. You know, like it's just like, it's just there that you miss your assignment sometimes. Getting beat by what's that? 38 points on Saturday isn't a great sign, but it's a new competition. I think it's a good thing they're playing Manly again, though.
So the crazy thing is they've played the two teams that are just next to them in the ladder, and they've had their ass handed to them respectfully. What does Serrado do? Going, we just got flogged. How does and they were running on such a high, like it's the older have you peaked too early and all that sort of jazz. How does he go? All right, it's a new competition. Where do we start? Like, how do you get that level back and get that confidence back?
I think he's proven in the last 12 months that he's the man to be able to galvanise that squad. Critter's the man to galvanise that squad. We put that behind us. We turn up Monday. We go again. It's as simple as that. You don't need to overthink. Or probably I wouldn't even be showing too much of that Cowboys game. You're playing first grade. You know where you fucked up. You know what you should have been doing. New competition, home semi-final. It'd be a shame for them to go out in straight sets like bang, bang, bang. Like that's just not. I don't think that's acceptable. For a team that's undersized, right? No more excuses. Actually, like fuck that. You've done well all year. You deserve to make it past week 1 of the finals, I believe. You've had the best outside of probably the Warriors, probably the best crowd attendance. Yeah. I wanted to see him turn up and compete and not go out with 30 points put on him. Become the best defensive side all year and then just get flogged 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And be happy with the season, right? So, big test. Big test. Turbo coming back.
Yeah, Turbo coming back.
It's unfortunate.
Back to winner.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see how they go. We'll talk about them in the preview, I guess.
Yeah, we'll talk about no. I just want to say, like, what is it that can change on the field? Like, what are just two things that the Dogs can change?
It's just going back to the belief of the system that you've bought into all year. There's too many, like particularly against Manly, when they kept losing the ruck and then once they're on the back foot, one player would get up, two would sit back, one player would give inside pressure, take themselves out of the picture, and then no one was scrambling from the inside. It was just a comedy of like just fuck-ups. It wasn't their system.
Yeah.
And then your Cowboys are such a good team. They're a big team. They haven't clicked all year. And mate, Lukey, Nanai, Taumalolo, Cotter, Val, that's a fucking team, man. That is a team. And I thought they might struggle to come to Sydney and put on a scoreline like that. I expected the Dogs to do better. But they didn't, and it is what it is.
One thing with them as well, I think there's such a momentum team, the Cowboys. They're like almost like that solid touch footy team, even though the defence was obviously strong. But I just find their momentum, if you let them build confidence, they're a team that can be really hard to wrestle back.
When you got Taumalolo, Cotter, Lukey and Nanai are the two best young back rowers in the competition. They're both 6'4", 6'5".
Our height.
Yeah, just a little bit shorter. Nanai's played Origin now. He's probably got I think Lukey played for Samoa in the test. They're earmarked to be representative players, right? Yep. So once you get young 21-year-olds running them up, good luck.
Well,
off the back of Jason.
Well, a prime example of that was Brisbane last year. A bunch of young 21-year-olds. Yeah,
Clifford, another one. Like just go. Chad, we're going to bring in Clifford. He's been doing outstanding. That's huge from Todd Payton to take that gamble.
Big time. Very much so. He's doing an incredible job.
Yeah, fuck. Good luck, Knights. But Knights, they did well as well. So,
yeah. Interesting stat come up. So there's obviously been a lot of talk around Brisbane's fall from grace. But it seems to be a trend of, and I'll read these stats to you. So the teams losing in the GF, you had the Broncos, obviously last year. Year before that was the Eels. Year before that was the Rabbitohs, who are now second last. Year before that was the Raiders. So it seems like
it's a trend. Hey, that's a fucking alarming stat, right?
Yeah. Like there's been obviously a lot of talk around Kevin, but like it's a very crazy stat that.
Look, it is so hard to turn a club around. Like, well, not necessarily turn a club around, but when you buy into a system and you train all through preseason, like you're getting fucking flogged. You're going through Christmas, you get a little break there, you go again. Flog, and then you go into a season. And then you build to a grand final and throw it away in the last 3 minutes. And this is like, it might be hard on Brisbane, but it's fucking draining to be able to back up another season because you know how much you put into a season for it to just lose it in 3 minutes. Now, you mentioned all those other sides that they've fallen off. In 2005, after we won it, we didn't make the 8 the following year either.
Yeah.
Given we completely injury riddled, like all of us, like the whole fucking pretty much starting team of the grand final was out injured. But I think it's so important. That's where I respect Penrith so much. Like it baffles my mind that they're going for their 4th in a row, but their 5th grand final.
5th.
It fucking baffles me that you can turn up to another preseason and go, I want to win it. I want to win it. Like it depends on what kind of chemistry you have amongst the group. Like it's almost like, oh, fuck, we did it. It's a relief.
Yeah.
And then you might like little bits of habits might start creeping into your life, or you're just not as committed, or you're not looking after your body as much because winning a premiership is something you've wanted to do since you were 4 years old. So this is where it goes back to Penrith, and I'm like, fuck, these guys are going for it again. Like they got that winning mentality. They've got the perfect chemistry. And when I talk about chemistry, right, you can have the talent, you can have the hard workers, you can have the churchies, you can have the party boys.
Where did you fit in?
I prayed before a game because I was underdone from partying the week before. So I'd go church, party, church.
Yeah.
But the most important, like you've got to just say the club foundation is strong, and you mix that into a bottle, right? But if you don't have the perfect leaders, then all of that goes out the window.
It comes back to, I think, my favorite word, culture, club culture.
Culture good, whatever. Like, so churchy, party goers, hard workers, the talent.
It's where they're getting them all to mesh.
And then having the leaders.
Yeah.
Like I was blessed to have great leaders because they would come down to our level and say, yeah, we can enjoy a good time with you boys, but we go back to our families now. There's the non-negotiables on Monday when you turn up.
Yeah.
In the first couple of years, that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
And that's why chemistry is so important. Like I look at the Broncos, for example, all young, right? Reno can't like do it on his own.
No.
Great family man. Paddy Carrigan, still young.
Very young.
Leads with his actions. Payne Huss leads with his actions.
Yeah.
On the field.
On the field.
I don't know what they do off the field. They've just got such a young squad that if you want to go back to back, you got to have good leaders, regardless of a good system, good coach. If you don't have good leaders, you look at the Melbourne system, right? They were blessed to have Cam Smith, Cooper Cronk, Billy Slater for pretty much that whole 15-year period, you know? Like they had Matty Orford before that. They had they've just always had good people in charge, and you'd never want to disrespect a good leader. Yeah. You're always gonna listen to a good leader.
Well, I think you've seen, obviously, Chalks, Jared Weir-Hardgraves has that presence and carries that group. You've got players like Papali, Canberra, that command that of the blokes next to him.
Yep.
Yeah, you can. And you see they're the teams that tend to be more consistent.
I think, like everyone has been hard on the Broncos all year. I think there's definitely an emotional draining factor that comes into it to back another season up. It's fucking hard. It's really hard. And that's where you've just got to respect Melbourne, who are the pioneers of it, Roosters to some capacity, and Penrith year after year after year. How much do you want to win? It's like I'm starting to watch. I watched The Last Dance again. I could watch an episode every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And just seeing that Michael Jordan winning mentality.
Love it.
It's like they've got a team culture like that there. And I'm sure they feed off that, but
where does it come from? The coach? Where's it come from?
Yeah, it's collective, right? So they've just built great pathway systems. Gus built that out there. Ivan is obviously a good leader. Then it filters down into your playmaker. Like Cleary, Nathan you can tell he's a good kid. You know, Jerome's a little bit rough around the edges, but you can tell he's a good leader. Fisher Harris, leader. Yowie, leader. Leota wouldn't be as much of a leader, but he feeds off those leaders. He became a leader, right? So that if you can bring your standards up to these guys, that's where you fucking across the park. Like you've almost got 17 leaders in that team. Yeah,
but all work together and listen.
It's chemistry, bro. I've always said it. You need a bit of everything.
Correct.
You need a bit of everything, but at the top of the food chain, it's the leader. 2 or 3 leaders that you're somewhat scared of.
I'll tell you the other thing I think it's been huge for them. It's when you have chemistry, and I'll go down to a basic level. When you've got mates you play Oztag with, when you know where your mates are. No, you know what I mean? Like playing touch. Look, I've even got guys you've from a level at like say, I'm going to start at the bottom and work up. So when you've got mates that you've played with your whole life, you know, you step left, you throw right, your fullback's there. Then you go right to the top. You have blokes that were like Cam Smith, Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk that played all their junior rep footy together and junior footy. They had that same chemistry that blokes playing park footy have, and then have it at the ability of first graders. And this is what like that Penrith team has.
There's layers to what you're saying. You're talking about football ability. I'm talking about personality,
and the
chemistry of life.
Yeah.
Your circle of friends in life, who you hang out with, who's a leader within your circle. You're going to follow the leader. This is what at a club level, this is what.
It's insane.
It's not just football ability, personality, culturally, you know, religious beliefs, party boys, whatever it is. But you have the perfect concoction of chemistry.
Yeah.
And then you have the leaders, and you just have to buy into that.
It's insane.
You've got to buy into the leaders, and that's where you become successful. I just don't think Brisbane have enough leaders. I think you could say this across the board for a lot of clubs. If you don't have strong leaders, you're gonna have rough years.
Yeah. There's talk around at the moment that RCG, Brisbane are looking at him. Is he someone that could be a leader?
They definitely need older heads at the Bronx. The game that I played to the game there is now, it was a lot older. So the average age would have been a lot older. We had a lot of guys, late 20s, 30, and then we had young guys, right? So we're like early 20s, late teens. So there was a good balance there. RCG, back end of his career, I think just getting a couple of older heads up there, you know, could give these younger guys just a little bit more confidence and just show them what these are the standards. Yeah. This is how I train. This is how I prepare. This is how I recover, right? So I just think they need a little bit more of that. The Bronx, I think he'd be a great signing. I don't know him personally. I just know him as a footballer, RCG. So just a couple of older heads around the place. I know Benny Teo's going there in the coaching staff as well, is he? Yeah, he is.
Yes.
I think
he's going to be a huge signing.
He'd be a great signing. It's kind of like, I see Benny Teo, right, as the Jim Dimmick of when I played. So when I went to
that's got to be
in 2014 when I went back to the Dogs, even though I was older, I looked at Jim Dimmick as like, fuck, that's one of my idols from the 90s, you know what I mean? So having someone on the coaching staff where these guys grew up watching Benny Teo play, that drives standards. You know, I'm going to turn up to training. I'm going to be on. I'm not coming in a mood. I'm not going to kick stones.
Yeah.
Benny, I've got a wrestle sessions today. Benny's there. That drives standards.
I know Champ always spoke about Benny Teo as like one of those players that was just the ultimate professional. Always looked after his body. He was like, I've got an X amount of time that I can play footy and I want to maximise that and do it to the best of my ability.
That's an unbelievable rap, you know. So I picked that Broncos will turn things around over the preseason. And whether or not Kevy's the man for the job, I'm not too sure. You play for Brisbane, you're going to get analysed closely. Like, they're a big fucking club. They're a club that a lot of players wanted to play for. So
I want to touch on another game or another team, the Knights.
Yeah.
What did you make of that performance?
They were great. You know, this is where I'm conflicted in my analysis. It was Old Boys Day.
It was Old Boys Day.
Right? You turn up to, what's it called now? I call it Marathon still. It's probably one of the hardest stadiums to play at.
McDonald Jones
Stadium. So it was Marathon back in the day. I used to hate playing there. there'd be little old ladies knitting on the sideline just giving you abuse. You fucking suck. I swear to God, because you got to like warm up in the dead boy area. Just little old ladies knitting away, and like the amount of language coming out of an old lady's mouth. Jesus, get me out of here. But they turned up. They defense won them that game, and then Kalen Ponga, like he had a bit of a mixed bag. Like few passes weren't great. That Marju, what a beast.
He's a beast.
Their forwards turned up, but you start to think, where the fuck was that been all year? Do you need Old Boys Day every week?
I think they do.
But it makes that. You think, fuck, this guy's just clicked and just let Kalen do his thing. They're going to be fine.
He's one of my favourite players to watch when he's on.
When he's on.
He's just so good.
Oh, it'd be an absolute nightmare to be a middle. You've just made fucking 3 tackles in a row, and then he's bouncing around at the back. And then
he just goes from A defender, C defender, tips back in, balls around the back. It's just scary what he can do.
Yeah. And it's good to see these teams where you go, do they deserve to be in the 8? Because they've had to play 27 rounds to get that 8th spot. Then seeing that performance, I'm like, no, I want to see them in the finals.
Well, if you look through the teams, you've got Storm at $2.50, and then they're the rank outsiders of your teams left at $51.
I don't think they can win a premiership.
No.
I just like watching.
Do you think? But they will get to the preview shortly, but I definitely think they're a chance of winning.
If they defend the way they defended.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that defensive effort from them all year. And I'm thinking, that's why I'm conflicted. I'm like, is it because it's Old Boys Day?
Yeah.
So they fly the 97 Newcastle team up there to North Queensland this week to clap them on the field. Fuck, it's not a bad call. I'll be like, Chief, get the boys together. Joey, get them together. We're going to clap them on. Dead set.
I reckon the Chief will give an almighty rev-up speech.
Actually, the Dogs might need the Old Boys back.
Mate, can you organise it?
Yeah, I might need to. We might need to clap them out this week. Ciro, box tickets, mate. 04 squad. We'll clap them out.
We'll get it obviously now end of the season. I just want to touch on Dally M. Can anyone beat Jerome Hughes?
No.
His name's done.
He's fucking so good. He's been unbelievable. I listened to the Levels boys, and I was listening to Hoz talk about his stats and what he's done in the competition so far, and it's like, fuck, he's done more than Stacey Jones. And like Stacey is like the pioneer of New Zealand halfbacks, right? He's done more than Benji. I'm like, 2 premierships. They won the Tri-Nations or whatever it was last year. Daly M, like, his resume is fucking pretty good already.
It's crazy to think that he's done all of those things, and I still think this is his best year yet.
When he first went to halfback, I thought it looked forced and uncomfortable for him. Oh, I don't think you're a halfback, man. Just the way he's developed his game. And it's kind of like Cooper Cronk, right? So Cooper Cronk started off on the bench, then went to 9, and then developed into a 7. Same scenario. He went for similar scenarios. He went fullback. They throw him into half. And I'm like, didn't look natural for him. Now, man, the way I love his support play as well. And he's one of those sort of tinny players that the ball always ends up in his hands. There'll be a half break and the footy will go this way, that way, bounce straight in his hand.
Bounces here.
Try. I'm like, fuck. Mate, he's great. He's great. I think he'll get the Dalian Player of the Year.
And well deserved.
Well deserved, for sure. For sure.
It's, like just on that Melbourne side, I swear, like you talk to anyone and lots of blokes that are like pro punters, people that have got a good footy IQ, talk to so many people and all year, who are the teams? Panthers, Chooks, Bulldogs, maybe everyone just kept excusing Storm. And then in the last 3 weeks, everyone's just gone, oh, wow.
It's like Melbourne or Victoria is not in Australia. Like, it's just so far off the radar.
It's just
they
not
just
there.
do their own thing down there. Oh, who's this?
What are they doing 4
Who's
points
that
clear?
purple team?
Who's that team 4 points clear at the top?
Man, to be fair, I didn't really take much notice of them. I knew they were there, but I was like, wasn't sort of paying a close attention because you you get to a point now in the last 20 years where you just expect them to be up the top anyway.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Mate, we haven't spoken about our turkey team.
Oh, you took the word. I was about to say there's a team that's had a lot of talking about this last week.
Well, we did get a lot of feedback, and there were. See, the criteria for me is if you was trying to hold on to a hairline, so you're still going to like maybe Barbarians and getting a fade, like paying $50 for a fade, every week, then you're in the turkey team, right? You're the blue shirts. We all know that. But yeah.
So because a few people have said, look, Dylan Edwards stamped his authority on an Origin jersey, and a lot of people said he's first man picked in fullback.
Yeah, so he succumbed. He succumbed to Father Time early, and he's just sort of thought, fuck it, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm not going to rock a Devon. There's too much good lighting now. If I play a Sunday Arvo at Penrith and the sun's beaming down on it, I don't want that smoke. I'm going to shave it. Seriously. So I
don't think he's too far gone.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
But he's done.
He's done.
But he knows it. So that's why I can't have him in the turkey team.
All right, there's a forward that's gone. There's speculation. This is one. Angus Crichton.
Ooh, yeah, there's speculation.
There's speculation.
I'm willing to give Angus another season.
Okay.
To see if he grows it out, just to see how far the cul-de-sac's going back. There's a bit of conjecture around him. It was a bad day to shave your head against Titans on a Saturday afternoon when it's 30 degrees.
Oh,
because it didn't look good.
No.
It didn't look good. The optics of his hairline did not look good. I'll tell you what, let's pick the coaching staff. So a lot of applications. I've had to go through a lot of applications, auditions. So I'm gonna stick with our man Semi Thaiday. He wrote in. He said he wanted to be part of the coaching staff. I said, Semi,
he's number one.
Sit back, mate. When we played alongside Semi back in the day, and obviously played against him. He had that big head of hair, but he's succumbed. So here we are, head coach. Our assistant coaches are Bo Champion and Ben Ross. Congratulations. Team manager, our good friend Carlos Stefanovic.
Outstanding.
He's actually invited me over to Turkey with him, so I'll go over while he's getting his hair done. And the team's still, it's up in the air.
It's still,
Aiden Caesar's made the 5'8".
There's been a big blow up that Sammy Walker got the 7 jersey. They said he should have been pushed to 6, and Aiden has got a stranglehold on the 7.
Yeah, well, they're both in the halves. I don't know. DCE's just missed out. There was few nominees, mate. When we'll maybe pick a team grand final week.
Grand final. Let's keep getting some names in there. I want to see some names who are in the forwards. I'd like to know some good.
There's a few. And remember, the criteria
has to be holding on to it.
That's people that just won't let it go and still paying for haircuts at Barbarians in Maroubra Junction. Shout out to Ahmed. Habibi. Let's get on to the preview, mate.
Yeah, let's rip into week 1 of the semis. It is going to be
Bluebet Stadium, Penrith Roosters, 7:50 Friday night.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
All right. I just want to say as well for anyone watching, it's 2:00. Team list is not out, so we haven't got guarantees on a few players. Mm-hmm. Now, how am I feeling? I was out at the Chookies game. Look, as an East supporter, and usually as for any South supporter, there's 2 games you care about all year, and that's those games. So luckily we did win both, but fuck, the last 15 minutes was pretty scary to watch them let go.
That's been a trend
for a few weeks, definitely. But not so much in that Canberra game when they lost. They held on there. But positives for Chooks. I thought the attack looked good with Sandon. Probably took him about 20 minutes to get warm. Yeah. But obviously Mark was good. They're going to have to go to a complete another level. The thing with them here, in my opinion, is I just want to see them play footy. Turn it into a try and turn it into a triathlon. I don't. There's no way. You've seen now that the Roosters aren't going to out Penrith. There's not a team in the comp that will out Penrith. So I just think play to your strength and go, fuck it, let's score tries.
There's a couple of other teams in there that can grow on with Penrith. I don't think Penrith have been
as
amazing.
Good. Yeah, that's true.
Cleary could be back this week. I'm sure he will be.
There's the rumour mill that I've got is that he's back.
And again, it's hard to get a read. It's so hard to get a read on the Roosters right now. I mean, to still let in 28 points last week, it's a concern. When's Jared back?
Next week. And hopefully they're not playing.
They're not soft in the middle, but they're inexperienced.
Mm.
They're inexperienced in the middle.
Yeah.
They've got a great team, great lineup, great players within that roster, but there's something missing, and it's a defensive issue.
I definitely hope Spence goes back to the bench. Jeez.
It's not a bad shout, that. I don't mind that. I don't mind you telling one of the young kids on the bench to go, give me 20 of your fucking hardest minutes.
Yeah.
Give me everything you've got for 20 minutes. They'll turn up for you. Do not miss an assignment. Do not chase from marker, kick chase, fucking kick pressure, whatever it is. Just go and blow a gasket because Spencer's coming on.
And then Spence just comes on comfortable as back in that position he loves to be.
I don't mind
and
that.
take that.
I don't mind that shout, to be fair. Tough ask, go out to Penrith.
It's a big ask. There's a lot.
You know, again, I don't think Penrith have been amazing, but Penrith turn up.
Yeah, Penrith in
Stadium.
Penrith.
So look, it's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to this one. I know the record against Penrith and Melbourne have been diabolical for the Roosters.
They certainly have, but like God, the Titans very almost unlucky not to get away with that victory last week. Look, different side with Cleary in it. He's just got to be the best game manager in the game.
A little bit unfit, coming underdone. He'll get some traffic sent at him.
Definitely.
If he does play. But I'm still confident Penrith can get the job done. I think they might have had – look, we spoke about it earlier. You can't – it's so hard to back up one season, let alone 5.
Crazy.
So you can forgive them for the last 5 rounds to have one eye on the semis. So you go, that's out of character. That movement was there, was a little bit out of character. But now it's like, all right, boys, we're in the home straight. We get this win. We're playing for a major semi. 3 to go. 3 more games to go. And then we lose Luai. You know, we're splitting up. The band's breaking up even more. Yeah, Penrith, they'll be too hard to beat this week, mate.
Now, this is going to be, I think, will be an absolute cracker of a game.
Yeah, I think it will be too.
It's obviously Storm coming off a huge win. One team that is a bogey team for them is Cronulla.
Yeah. They've
beat them down there.
A few times.
Yeah. Especially over the last 10 years, they have been a team that they don't mind playing them. They're $3.50.
And that gives you a lot of confidence as a Shark. And that makes you nervous as a Melbourne squad to go, hey, we've been beat by this team a few times.
I reckon they would have rather played East or Penrith, to be honest.
Sharks are another side that surprised me against Manly. And they're not a team full of stars, but they're just all on the same page. Their back rows, what's his name comes off the bench? Who's the lock as well?
Give me 1 sec. I'll tell you. Just gone blank.
I'm so hopeless with computers. Hang on a sec. Give me their team list. We don't have a team list, but they're...
As in from last week.
Anyway,
Hazelton or Jack?
Hazelton might be out, I heard.
Yeah, wow.
He might have a bit of a knee issue. But I think they're just fucking a gritty team, man.
Very.
They're a gritty team. And you said it to me last week, what kind of person Craig Fitzgibbon was. He's a gritty player. He was defense-minded player. Like he man, even getting Katoa and Mulatalo back was great for him. Nico just did what he needed to do. Briton Nikora was my numero uno freak of the week.
I think Nico having
Wilton,
great
game. Both their back rowers. Blake Brayley started running amok again out of 9.
Yeah.
Like, that was great. I think they did it against 2 weeks ago when we spoke about him.
Yep.
And then we jinxed him. And then...
Put the big mocker on.
They did it against the Dragons.
Yeah.
Blake Brayley is a key part of their attack. Because defensively, their structures in defence, you know that's not going to change too much. But just seeing Brayley get out of 9 was great. Their forwards are starting to have a little bit of a short tip on. Daniel Atkinson, who missed out for Atkinson last week? Because we weren't sure, remember? And Talakai came back as well. So 2 dropped off the bench. We weren't sure if Atkinson would come on at 14, but he's been great. You can't keep him out of the team.
He's been unreal. And I honestly think best thing that happened was Nico was getting injured, having that time where everyone stopped talking about him after he'd been dropped from Origin. Never good doing an injury, but it gave him that time probably to switch off, everyone to forget about him, and now he's playing under no pressure.
Don't overplay your hand. He knows that.
Yeah.
Just let Trindle be another half and just run the team as well. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to do everything. Good side. This is going to be a great game. Looking forward to this one.
So who are you tipping?
I'm going to go Storm.
Sorry, Tom. Sorry. Tom's in disarray.
This is the game. This is going to be a cracking game.
I'm actually looking forward to each game of the finals.
Yeah.
So we've got North Queensland up at home, $1.42.
Yep.
And then can the Knights back up that gritty defensive performance?
If they turn up the way they did last week against the Dolphins, defensively, they give themselves every opportunity.
Mm.
And that's the frustrating thing. And Cowboys. Both of these teams have been frustrating this year.
Mm.
You look at the Cowboys lineup, their 1-17 is better than Newcastle's 1-17. You got Ponga there though. But then you look at 1-17 of the Cowboys, you're like, how is this fucking team in the top 4?
Mm.
You know, they're an outstanding. To come down to Sydney and put on that scoreline and Val and every big name player in that team fucking turned up.
Yeah.
Now you got to go back up there
and do it again.
I feel sorry for anyone that's going up there to play against them. Newcastle, if they fly up the 97 team, clap them onto the field, they could be a chance.
Joey up there, Yahoo.
Yeah.
Better, could they return with better than Lego?
It's better than Lego with Matty. Another cracker game. Two teams very consistent for obvious reasons at 5th and 8th. I think Cowboys will be too strong.
You're going with the home team again?
I have to go with the home team.
How big is that home advantage going into these games?
It's been so long since I played. Sometimes you like the underdog tag because you got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So there's more pressure on you especially up there, one town team.
Yeah.
Tommy, help me out here, mate. Whatever it is.
Your tips against the Sharks.
Yeah, look, the pressure's on the Cowboys, clearly, and it's a do or die. Nothing to lose, Cowboys, like Newcastle. So you feel that O'Brien, you go, listen, we ain't got nothing to lose. We just scraped into the 8. Let's give this fucking competition a shake. Go out there and have fun. Go out there, turn up defensively for each other and have fun. Let Kalen do the rest. You tackle and let him run. Turn up.
It's like going coaching under 9s.
Yeah.
Well. You guys just have to tackle and give it to him.
If all else fails,
give it to Kalen.
Where's KP?
All right. We're 3 games down. We go to your Dogs at home. Are you going to keep it an all home?
Yeah.
I'm going to push you on this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if you are going to tip them, I want to know why.
Yeah. This is rough, mate. Put me on the spot like this, bro. Turbo coming back. They got the blueprint a couple of weeks ago about how to beat the Dogs. We're down on troops. If you're not willing to fucking turn up and dig your shoulder in, you're going to have a long fucking day because they've got some big boys in that team. They've got some fucking big boys in that team.
Yeah.
Paseka ran amok. Lodge ran amok last time. Nathan Brown came on the bench off the bench like Shane Webke. You don't stop that. If you don't stop it from the middle, it's going to bleed out to the edges.
Do you think you could know the Bulldogs' fate within the first 10 minutes?
Yep.
Me too.
First few sets.
Yeah, I reckon within 7 minutes you'll know if
DCE is too much of a game manager. You don't want to get in a grind with one of the best game managers to ever play our game.
Yeah.
And then you got Turbo coming back. You need to you don't want it to come down to the back end of the game in a grind. You just need to fucking throw everything at them and just defensively just be dogs, hunt like a pack. Hunt like a pack of dogs and then just really unsettle their game. Make it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Don't let anything click for them. Don't let them give. If you look at the start of that game against Manly as well, like if we scored that try early, yes, we're off defensively, but then they were off too. They were dropping the ball. And even, Olakawatu's offload on the inside hits the deck, goes past the Bulldogs player, and then Brooks puts it on the toe. Turbo scores. If the bounce of the ball was going their way as well, then they went on with it. But
they need a sub bid.
Just get back to your system, boys, because there's too many uncharacteristic defensive reads that I don't like. That hasn't been seen all year, and then all of a sudden you're doing things from last year, and they've got pressure, fatigue. I'm going to stick with my Dogs, mate. I've just changed my mind halfway through to saying, just vomiting on this microphone. Absolute shite. So I'm going to go with the Dogs. I'm going to stick with the Dogs. It's been a great year for them. Turbo, go after DCE, just like the Origin, like we did with Crichton.
Yeah.
Angus Crichton, go after DCE. Try and keep Hamoli out of the game.
Yeah.
If you see Paseka in front of you, fucking, you better hope you got 3 boys next to you. But bring him down. Make it uncomfortable. That's what you need to do in this.
Uncomfort. Make it a dog fight.
Make it really uncomfortable for him. And then you give yourself a chance.
All right. Now, I'm going to ask you each week, going into this one, who's your number 1 pick right now to win it?
Oh. Fuck, why'd you say that? For me, I think it's Melbourne, and I said it. We shot at 14. They've got the best 14. I think the 14 is in such an important role with how quick our game is.
Yep.
How erratic. That I love seeing the 14 come back into the game and be a threat and be so important to a win for your side, because you don't want to lose momentum when your bench comes on. And Wishart, the way he's playing, and then to be able to inject him into the game 25 minutes in, 20 minutes in, whenever it is, when those middles are tired, it's very dangerous. So I'm going to stick with Melbourne so far.
All right.
This week.
Beautiful. Next week we may have a guest.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
See how I feel. See you next week, mate.
See ya.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.